Tesla's big event may long be over, but apparently I've got some exclusive footage that no one has seen until now that gives us a glimpse of the wild future Tesla is working on next. Plus, speaking of what's coming up next, a new Model Y is already here, but it's not the Model Y Juniper we want. Let me tell you what's new with the Model Y. And also, let me tell you the latest on the new Model 2 rumors, because a new, cheaper Tesla should be coming before the end of the year, but it might not be the cheaper Tesla we actually wanted. Lots to break down. Let's jump in. Okay, so as the dust continues to settle from this increasingly controversial October 10th We Robot event, there is a lot we need to discuss because I feel like I might have some answers that people are looking for, and also apparently I have some exclusive info that I didn't realize was exclusive and no one knew about until just a day or so ago. So I've got some exclusive clips here I can share, and also just some insight after being at the event, having some conversations, being able to take a full-on ride in CyberCab, look at this thing up close. I've got a lot to break down and hopefully provide some insight into what Tesla is working on next. All right, so first things first, let me take a moment to talk a bit about CyberCab and answer some of your questions. You guys left a lot of great questions in the comments of my previous video on CyberCab, so let me take a moment to address those. First off, this is a very working prototype of the CyberCab. I'll get to that more in a moment, but there were still some parts that were incomplete and probably will change soon. For example, during my ride, I actually pulled down on the mirror here, and as you can see, there's like a component for the mirror, but there isn't actually any glass or reflective material inside. Those are little things that'll be ironed out as the vehicle gets closer to production, but overall, it did feel like a very, well-built and very mature prototype that did have some tweaking to see, but did feel mostly done. I also didn't see this live there, but we did get some footage shortly after the event of the actual trunk on the CyberCab. Presumably, it will have both a frunk and a trunk accessible for passengers, but here's just a quick look at what that trunk does look like. And of course, one of the big talks of the entire night was the whole Optimus robot thing. Now, I understand people's concern here. I think that Tesla didn't make it increasingly clear as to what the point of this was. From sort of the ground perspective, it was really cool to see these Optimus robots literally walking among the crowd, serving food, serving drinks, talking to people. And I think the intention Tesla had was to show the mechanics of this, the range of movement, how that works, and the fluidity. But what it turned into was a lot of controversy as to how these things were controlled because they were talking to guests. Were they being remotely controlled? Were they AI driven? How were they talking? That led to a lot of controversy at the event. Now, while Optimus can sort of graze the public streets of the Tesla event clothesless, the same can't be said for regular old humans, which means you probably are looking for some good clothes to have these, especially as the weather is turning, weather is getting a bit more cool outside, and if you're like me, you want a one-stop shop to go to, a place where you can get good pants, shirts, casual, comfortable clothes, more formal stuff, everything under one roof, so to speak. And if you're looking for the best place to go to my place, my favorite place, which is Into the AM. And if you've been around on this channel before, you've seen for years now, I've been sort of flaunting Into the AM apparel here on my channel. I wear their stuff all the time simply because it really is great. They've got a wide variety of beautiful designs to choose from. I love their graphic tees, but also I love their more basic stuff as well. Their basic tees are great, super comfortable, always look good, and their new fall collection is out right now. I'm sort of sporting one of the pieces of that collection, and let me tell you, it is amazing, super comfortable, looks great, versatile. They've got everything from joggers, hoodies, flannels, more long sleeve shirts like what I'm wearing here. This is the waffle knit crew, by the way, super comfortable, love this stuff, and I love that you can sort of have it any way you want it. You can have it sort of comfortable, casual, good for making YouTube videos like this. You're sort of able to transition if you want to sort of layer this with something else, or dress up a bit more for a date. They have got you covered with some amazing apparel. And again, everything here is built incredibly well. It is incredibly comfortable. And again, as you've seen over and over on my channel for years now, I love Into the AM stuff. Even when they're not sponsoring a video like this one, I still wear it because my closet is full of their stuff, because I love it and buy it on my own dime, and just really do think they are making some really great things. So if you want to check out all the Into the AM has to offer, check out their all new fall collection. Again, hoodies, hoodies, basic tees, graphic tees, joggers, flannels, jackets. There is so much in one place. Into the AM is the place to go. You can learn more by hitting the link down below or head to intotheam.com/Robert10 and use my special coupon code Robert10 to get 10% off your order. And also you can stack that code on any deals or discounts that might be happening at the time as well. So again, link down below, intotheam.com/Robert10 and use Robert10 to get 10% off your order. So officially, I haven't seen any statement from Tesla directly addressing this, but it seems like the consensus is the following, the best that I can discern. The fluids, the movements, obviously all those are done by the robot, but they were being remotely controlled from someone else mimicking those movements. So someone would move their arms and the robot would do it. Same goes for the voice as well. When I was on the ground, and I'll show a little clip of an interaction here, to me it almost seemed like any sort of just newer AI model. Obviously Tesla, or I should say X has Grok. Obviously Tesla's got access to a bunch of AI stuff. ChatGPT, natural voice. There's a lot of great AI tools these days. And I guess when I was there, I guess I couldn't really hear that well, but it sounded to me like any, normal AI model.
I guess there's no way I could win this. Maybe it was a bad idea letting you go first.
I agree.
Well, anyway, it's kind of hard playing with a camera, but I'm glad you got that video. You'll have that for the rest of your life. Just like I'll have this for the rest of my life. It was great playing with you.
You too. Air high five.
But that was just one robot, and I guess that when you listen to some more of them, they sounded more natural, so some believe that also they were being remotely sort of voiced as well. I think the bottom line is that Tesla's intention here, which maybe wasn't super clear, but the intention was to show the maturity of robots, how they could work, what they could do, and sort of the movements of them. It wasn't so much to give us a live demo of a working prototype. So that is some confusion on that. I thought I'd clear up. I got a bunch of footage. It was really cool to obviously see this stuff and see what it was like, but just wanted to share that. I know there's some controversy around that, so thought I'd address that from my perspective and what I saw on the ground. But with that said, there was some other controversial things that I think were not really true or partially true. There was a lot of controversy that CyberCab, I saw some people claiming it was remote control, that it was on a track, stuff like that. I can assure you that there was no track there or no physical track. I'm sure that Tesla spent a lot of time pre-mapping that part of the Warner Brothers backlot. It was a closed backlot. It wasn't on a public road, but I will say that during my ride, it felt like any normal full self-driving ride. In fact, there were times during my ride that it sort of went off of sort of the backlot area and onto like a service road in between the different lots. And as people sort of walk through just random wild traffic, the vehicle would stop and go forward and stuff like that. So definitely to me, I had no doubt that this was running some version of full self-driving. Whether or not it was the version that we all have access to, I'm not sure, but it definitely was operating in real time and not being remote controlled. And honestly, I'd say to those who are skeptical about this and its ability to work, just try full self-driving. I've never been the biggest proponent of full self-driving. I've had my fair share of criticism and skepticism, but I will say that it is remarkable how good it has gotten and how it gets better and better and better. I mentioned in a previous video, I drove to Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and I let full self-driving not only do the full drive from central Pennsylvania to D.C., but all the city driving that I didn't want to stress about and want to have to do, I just put on full self-driving and it did it remarkably well. No interventions. I just could sit back and I really did feel like the vehicle was confident, knew what it was doing, and I also had a little bit more comfort just knowing that I didn't have to do and deal with those stressful situations. Obviously, full self-driving is not perfect. There is a long way it has to go, but I'll say that I definitely, in my opinion, think this is closer to reality than it's ever been before, and we'll get into sort of more of the physical components of the vehicle in a moment, but in terms of can this happen, I definitely think it's possible, and if you want to experience it for yourself, just try full self-driving. It is remarkable how good it has gotten, and it just keeps getting better. Perfect? No. But really good? Good enough to do this? Yeah, I think so. Also, I guess during the presentation when Elon was mentioning how CyberCab had no charge port, no supercharging port, it only worked by inductive charging, you all couldn't see that. I actually was lucky enough that I was just filming most of the presentation and I got a clip. So here's what the visuals for that part looked like.
And you'll get to experience it tonight. Something we're also doing is, and it's really high time we did this, is inductive charging. So the robotaxi has no plug. It just goes over the inductive charger and charges. So, yeah. It's kind of how it should be.
Also from that clip, it seems to be clear, or at least sort of allude to the fact that Tesla is supposed to have like these cleaning stations that can go in, remove parts of the car, do deep cleans, and head on out. Because there's a tagline in one of the clips that said that, CyberCab was always going to be clean and ready to go. So I'm assuming Tesla has got a streamlined way to clean this, whether that's with robots or humans, I'm not sure. But that was an interesting part of the presentation as well. And I know the event was super controversial. I know that everyone has their split opinions, but I do want to say that I think we've got to remember there were two things announced here. One was obviously a very ambitious robotaxi CyberCab that we might see in a year or two, maybe longer. Again, in my opinion, the construction seemed good. My ride was super comfortable. Again, those seats were very, very comfortable. And everything seemed like it was very close to being in the final stages of ready to go. It seemed mature, and definitely mature enough that Tesla had 20 of these vehicles on the property for test drives, and not a single complaint or hiccup that I heard of. On the other hand, though, I get it. I know there's skepticism on when that could come out and stuff like that. But remember, that is one component of the announcement. The larger component, the probably more exciting one for us, is that our vehicles will be able to do this full self-driving unsupervised. Obviously, caveat, asterisk on which vehicles and when it'll be released and stuff like that. And Elon wasn't entirely crystal clear on which vehicles would support it. He did say that all vehicles they make will support it. I've heard conflicting rumors on whether Hardware 3 will support it or not, Hardware 4, but at least a good large number of Teslas will have this access starting hopefully sometime next year for unsupervised driving. So not only does this mean that you can sit back and relax and not have to worry about driving your vehicle, in theory, but also the fact that you can turn your vehicle into one of these taxis. You don't have to invest $30,000 in buying one of these. The idea that Tesla has been pushing, and what they continue to affirm, is that you can turn your own car into a taxi and make money while it would typically be sitting idly by. Again, going to have to be interesting to see how this plays out and how this will develop. But I should say there's a lot of criticism around this event, and I get some of it, but a lot of it, I don't understand what's the word for opposite of optimism? The pessimism of it all. I think it was really cool. I think it was a cool showcase. And while it might have been a little light in information, I think that Tesla has proven a lot, like Apple, that they can make the impossible possible. Just look at Cybertruck, and might be a little bit of a bumpy road to get there, but I'm interested and really curious to see how this all works out, and I'm optimistic that it will work out, hopefully in the time frame Elon presented. All right, shifting gears just a moment, let's get into some of the Tesla news of the week. Now that the event has sort of subsided, everyone is sort of wondering what is next, and right now that is Model Y Juniper, end of quarter discounts, and the big holiday update. So I teased in a previous video that Tesla over in South Korea was offering 0% APR financing, wondering when Tesla would do the same here. And of course, just shortly after my video went up, Tesla did announce 0% APR financing for the Model 3 and Model Y here in the United States, but with a bit of a twist. In order to qualify for that 0% APR financing, you have to add full self-driving to your vehicle. Now, Tesla loves to do their little caveats here with their full self-driving, but you can, make the investment, prowess for yourself on whether that is worth it or not. But if you do want to achieve 0% financing, that is a way to go. There still are some good existing inventory discounts to be had on brand new Model Ys. If you're looking to buy a Model Y especially, be sure to check out the existing inventory. And then also, like I have mentioned now multiple times, it is my opinion, and really Tesla historically, that we will see some particularly good deals near the end of the quarter, especially near the end of December. So if you're looking for a Tesla and you're looking to buy, but you're waiting for a little freebie or a little treat or an incentive or a bone thrown your direction, so to speak, whether that be free full self-driving trials, free supercharging, discounts, paint upgrades, stuff like that, wait for the end of the quarter, as those should be coming. And then also, speaking of full self-driving as well, Tesla has brought back for a limited time full self-driving transfers. So if you've got a full self-driving package on an old Tesla, looking to take it to a new Tesla, you can do that for a limited time for free if you go from an old car to a new car. Also got an update here on Cybertruck. Lots of questions on the end of Foundation series, which as of recording isn't done just yet, but very, very close. On Tesla's website, if you go to it, you're still going to be shown the Foundation series again as of now, but there is now a pretty wide availability of the non-Foundation series Cybertruck for anyone who pre-ordered. I mean, I had a really old pre-order that just, or I should say a pretty recent pre-order that just came up for non-Foundation delivery. So I've got the full thing in the app here. I can see the regular pricing starts at $80,000 for a dual range, is going to go up to $100,000 for a Cyber Beast. Of course, you're missing a lot of the Foundation series standard things. You've got smaller tires, you've got the gray tactical interiors, the default, you're missing full self-driving, stuff like that. But if you were waiting for the $80,000 Cybertruck, that is now here and almost available to anyone who wants it. And also, I should mention a lot of questions on the tax credit, $7,500 tax credit. It is of my understanding from the research I've done that the Cybertruck will qualify, at least the dual motor variant, but it's a matter of paperwork and technicalities, and that just hasn't gone live just yet. So it's a bit on pause right now if you want that tax credit with Cybertruck, though again, it is of my understanding that it will qualify. It's just not qualifying yet, as there's some formal red tape that has to be done for it to be officially greenlit by the US government. So stay tuned for that. You can still obviously buy this vehicle, but if you want to take it, and I even think that you could take advantage of the tax credit after the fact as well. Don't quote me on that, but I believe. But if you do want it as an instant point of sale discount, that you've got to wait for the approval on. So stay tuned on that front. A couple other things to mention here on the line of CyberCab. One is, like I mentioned previously, this definitely does confirm Tesla's design DNA change and all but confirms Model Y Juniper will have what the alleged leak photos suggest, which is the big RGB, or I shouldn't say RGB, but the big light bar on the back, RGB on the inside, but a standard light bar on the back. And then like CyberCab and Cybertruck, it also should have sort of this wraparound ambient light system as well in this front light bar. So definitely seems like the design language Tesla is going with. Like I mentioned previously, we got a new spy shot of this vehicle being tested overseas over in, I believe it was Spain. So this vehicle is definitely on the move. Production is happening, at least limitedly, and then hopefully we get some more info on this in 2025. As I mentioned again in a previous video as well, 2025 Model Ys are technically here. Juniper is not, so stay tuned on that front, and I will give you the latest as we get more Model Y Juniper leaks. But hold on a second. Actually, as I was editing this video, some all new information came in that we're now hearing from multiple sources, some good news and some bad news, that Model Y Juniper is now beginning limited production. One source here overseas saying the new model you're concerned about will begin production in November, and from now on, no electronic devices are allowed in the workshop, as we already saw a couple leaks on Model Y Juniper. It was that center console one was probably the most notorious, and then we've gotten a couple other spy shots here. Another source, again, overseas, I can zoom in here just a bit so you can see. According to news, Giga Shanghai will start producing the closed loop of the new Model Y next week. Initial productions won't be too much. This is from Tesla Chan. Both of these very credible sources have gotten things right, very close to the supply chain over in China. And then also he clarifies here, if you were curious, a closed loop is about maintaining security through an environment that is isolated from the outside while solving room and board in the production line. They will not be able to use electronic devices such as cell phones in the workplace. So basically kind of confirming that original source here about what a closed loop is and not having any access to electronics in the workshop. So what does this mean? Well, what it means is that Model Y Juniper is going into production sometime over the next couple of weeks. Tesla's going to start with a small number and then gradually increase. We saw the same thing with the Model 3. This is also super interesting because it basically confirms the rumor we'd actually heard a while ago from Bloomberg that Tesla will start first in the Chinese market, starting with production in Giga Shanghai and then expanding out from there. And there was a lot of speculation as to whether we would see simultaneous productions at Giga Berlin, Giga Shanghai, Giga Texas. We don't know, but it seems like as of now, at least according to this new info here, it's going to start first over in China and then come to other markets. So it seems as of right now, very likely that Giga Shanghai and that the markets served by that mega factory will be the first vehicles with the new Model Y Juniper, and then hopefully we get some more info soon on other factories ramping up production as well. The other interesting thing here to consider, and the question that's obvious, is okay, if production is starting soon, when could we actually see these things on the road and available to buy? That's an excellent question we don't have direct answers on as of right now. It depends how much of a stockpile Tesla wants to build before they make their announcement. So there is a real possibility that before the end of the year, sometime in the next month or so, or in December, we actually do get an announcement of the Model Y Juniper over in Giga Shanghai. And maybe Tesla does what they did with the Model 3, which is announce it in this all-new market, say nothing about other markets until they're ready, and then sort of pretend everything is status quo. That is something we've seen from them before, so wouldn't be surprised if we see that as well. But that is the latest, some breaking news here. Model Y Juniper is entering production from multiple credible overseas sources. And of course, as we learn more, I'll let you know, but definitely keep in mind that Tesla's trying to keep leaks to an absolute minimum, which is why they're going with this closed loop approach and not allowing any electronics in the factory. So going to be super interesting to see how this all plays out. Model Y Juniper, folks, getting closer than ever. And of course, I will keep you updated with the latest as we learn more. Oh, also I should mention, by the way, speaking of Model Ys overseas, Tesla has now officially launched a 7-seat Model Y option over in Europe. So if you want a 7-seat Model Y, you don't want to wait for Juniper, and you just wanted more space in your Model Y, you can now buy a 7-seat option. Tesla's teasing this on social media, having some fun with 5+2 promotional images, but that is now live over in Europe if you were curious. And then also, I do think there is an interesting question here to be answered on what the future cheaper Tesla is, because remember, we had gotten a lot of promises about what this cheaper Tesla was going to be, and originally, the CyberCab and the cheaper Tesla Model 2 were going to be on the same platform. These were essentially going to be the same cars, just one would have a steering wheel and pedals, and one would not. But that strategy has now changed. Given the new timeline on the CyberCab being 2026, 2027, whatever it is, that vehicle is just not ready for mass production yet. And Tesla needs a mass production, lower cost vehicle ready ASAP, like before the end of this year or early next year, according to the new timetable from Elon. So the change of this new Model 2 is that maybe one day it could be the CyberCab, but in the more imminent future, it's going to be somewhere between a Model 3 and Model Y. We're hearing this will be a bit of a smaller, more compact vehicle, but it will have a lot of attributes of the Model Y. It'll have a hatchback, you'll have some more space in there, but Tesla will likely make some reductions in order to drive that cost down. My assumption is like the base Model 3 over in Mexico, we'll see cloth seats, we'll see a white light strip in there, we won't see a rear screen, no heated steering wheel, no heated seats, no ventilated seats, stuff like that. But Tesla will make those moves with the smaller vehicle to drive costs down and offer a more affordable option here to the market. So again, just to clear up that confusion, yes, the original idea was CyberCab would be the Model 2, but that is no longer the case, at least as of right now. My guess is that when Juniper is launched, some form or function of the current Model Y will be shrink down a bit for the new, cheaper Tesla, as Elon has even specifically stated that one of the ways they can drive those costs down with a cheaper car sooner than with a CyberCab type thing is by reusing parts of their infrastructure they've already got at scale, which is Model Y. So a smaller, cheaper Model Y, again, still in the works. Elon said maybe before the end of this year or into 2025, but it won't look like CyberCab, will likely look a lot more like the Model Y. All right, everybody, so I'm curious, what are your thoughts on all this? A wild week of Tesla news, a lot of controversy around this event. Please drop a comment down below and let me know. Also, just want to give a big thanks again to you guys. It was only thanks to you and your support and you watching my videos that I had the opportunity to go to the event, which I'm really thankful for. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate the opportunity to cover Tesla news for you all and talk about something I'm passionate about. You guys are awesome, so I appreciate your support. And as a thank you for that, let me do a giveaway. So if you want a free way to win some Amazon gift card money, all you've got to do is 3 simple things. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below. And I need to find an object to use as my special keyword here. 1 second. So actually what I'll do is show you guys something cool. So they had these limited edition speed forms I never knew what a speed form was, but it looks like that. It was this model here. Of course, my camera's not going to focus. Come on. There we go. Little silhouette of the robotaxi. So if you want to stay to the very end, you want a free way to win some Amazon money, somehow either at the end, you could append it on the end or somehow work it in your comment, the word speed form. And that'll let me know you stay to the end, and I'll enter you guys in for a chance to win some free Amazon money, again, as a thank you. So thank you guys all so much. Thank you for allowing me to talk Tesla news for a long time. I appreciate you all. You guys are amazing. I'm Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you all in the next one.